Okay, might be involved in traveling or has his understanding, even in terms of marrying across cultures, or feeling secure with a Sagittarian philosophical viewpoints, his outlook on things. This moon in the fourth house reinforces it. So he personally takes things in. He needs to feel secure. If he doesn't feel secure, it's going to affect his motivation. It's going to get out, and his motivation is going to get angry, and he'll project that anger out and act on it. But he certainly, it doesn't look like he's taking things in, but he does take questions. You understand the same as me? If you do, then we understand each other. If you don't, well, where are you? Like, how come you don't understand the same as me? But the moon here has two different, it's sextile to Jupiter. That's lucky. So you think he owns hotels around the world, big chains, is owning a property. There's a lot of security, a lot of speculation, a lot of investment. And the Jupiter rules the moon is in his second house in Libra. There you can see it. So then it trines the Mars. So he naturally acts on his feelings and what his instincts are, however they change. That's not a difficult area. But the moon opposes his sun and opposes his Uranus. So the pose to the sun, that's the full moon. And we got that in the full moon phase, the two sides, trying to be independent and not trying to get away from the past, but this is his past, at odds with where he's trying to be. So he's out being president, and his family are having to adjust around it. He's not so much in touch with it. Anyway, we see that. But the big factor here is the Uranus opposed the moon. He's very insecure, unstable. The Uranus disturbs his feelings. He's very restless with his feelings. He's not secure. From where he came from his past, from his mom, even though the moon's in the fourth house, there's some nice aspects to it. On a personal level, that Uranus opposed moon. When he was born, his mom was in shock. He grew up being in shock. And anytime he gets feelings, they come out of shock. He's shocked when he understands other people's feelings come in. How could they feel like that? They're not feeling the same way I am. They're not thinking the same way. So it destabilizes and makes it very restless. He can't sit still. So it doesn't allow this mutable moon. It's always adapting this to this, this to this, but it's opposed by Uranus, so it's unstable. It's adaptation. It's never content. It'll never sit still. It's never content. This isn't new. I'll go this. I'll adjust this way. It's always moving and always changing. So the Sag has the ability to move and to change and to travel, but the instability and conventionality there. His sun and his power and his status is going one way. And it's a funny, this is this full moon opposition here with Uranus tied up to it, making it very catalytic. But you can see everything's, he married a foreigner or someone from another country, has a cosmopolitan family, but there were shocks or instability around it. He didn't necessarily hold most stable or most loyal to the home. You can see him traveling to Russia, traveling places and feeling, this is wonderful, this place is so wonderful, better than where I'm coming from. This is really nice. I really love Russia. I really love these places, and then, but it aligns in a very unstable way to what he has to do to the Uranus and the sun in the 10th house. So there's a lot of puzzle between who he's projecting his energy out and his blind spot of not being able to respond to people. He doesn't know who he attracts. He just, as soon as somebody's giving him lip service or being nice to him, he assumes they're with him and he goes on it. And he doesn't realize when people fall away from it. This is his blind spot. The puzzle. So the enthusiastic moon in Sagittarius is super restless and never sits still and always changing opinions. What's secure, what's not secure, moving from one place, traveling here, traveling there. I find it very interesting. He's traveled a lot around places around the world, but really he hasn't traveled. He's gone from his hotel to his hotel to his hotel, and he stayed inside his own security bubble in different countries. as far as I know. Okay. I don't know him, so we're looking at the chart, we're looking out, and I have my opinions and my takes on things happen. I'm reading these into it. But really, anybody with the moon in Sag in the 4th house is going to want to have security, need to feel at home. But with the Uranus opposing it, it's always going to be changing from one thing to another thing to another. And there'll always be one shock or one disruption that one has to adjust to after another. One big opinion, I understand it's going this way. Oh, it's changed. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. So one shock after another. So he's continually let down by the people closest to him, by his moon. As soon as he's feeling secure, you can almost bet it's not secure. So in politics, he could be running his party, running the government, but really his own party could end up pulling out from underneath him as he's pushing for what everyone needs. And he wouldn't see it coming. So he can't see, he only sees how he's the answer, and his idea is so individual. He's the best person to be leading, to showing people what can be done because he knows. But he doesn't see that other people have rules and responsibilities and values that aren't consistent with his. So that can make a lot of enemies. He's a very perceptive, adaptable person, this moon, but this need to feel secure. It's not, that moon changes, the changeable home situation. So living in hotels, moon and Sag, different people, different cultures, being there. Whoa. Having different places. This is part of his style, living that way. This is fun, that's there, but it's not deep or profound. It tends to be unstable and perhaps insecure and fragile, or even perhaps superficial, but not stable. Okay, it's interesting that such a stressed, unstable person could be so rich. It could be so built up and be so powerful. But he is a Gemini, right? So even though he has his business, his homes, his hotels, he's now in another role where he's playing president. He can make decisions that will long-term have good effects on his businesses. And should have to avoid conflicts of interest, but that's not the way he thinks. He thinks the conflicts shouldn't be there, and the conflicts of interest are wrongly aligned and should be aligning with his interests. Okay, let's keep going. Look at the Mercury. Now his Mercury is the way he thinks. His Mercury is in Cancer, in the 11th house. So his Mercury in Cancer, it's sensitive, it's emotional, it's moody, it's intuitive. It picks up his feelings. What the feelings from his moon and Sag. He picks up feelings quickly. He responds quickly. He reads into things quickly. It's quickly because Uranus opposes the moon, and it can make things happen fast, so he doesn't ever really feel his feelings deeply. He gets a quick, he feels it. Meaning he gets a strong feeling. He intellectualizes it. It goes to his mind, and he makes some decision about trying to think how to deal with it. So that moon in Cancer, it's in the nighttime increasing. So I can see what people need. I see how this has to be fixed. I see when the mind is thinking to solve personal problems, to make things secure, to fix worries, to make things that, and it's conservative. Cancer is still kind of conservative, not as strict as Capricorn, but it's still, we should live this way, we should live this way. So in his appeal, in his ideas, he promoted the idea of being kind of a drunk, a klutz, or whatever, and he pulled in the working class and the rednecks who identified to his talking cultural biases or home attitudes, domestic attitudes. So his mind is quick to tune into how the people, 11th house, it's in the 11th house of groups, how people get together. And he sees how people get there by the family home. This is the way we live. This is the way we always live. We don't need to have it changed. But you can see, as soon as he's thinking we don't want to have it changed, the 11th house is a succeeding house fixed. It sees how it doesn't want to have it changed. Once they keep the home, make America, make the homeland great again. You see the Mercury Cancer at the 11th house. but he's continually feeling it's being threatened by Uranus opposed his moon. Never feels secure. So he's thinking this, we could make this great again, we could fix this great again. So his mind, even though it's affected by the moon or reacts to the moon, it's going to feed right into the Gemini, because the Gemini is going to act on their ideas as soon as they get it. And without reflecting on, I mean, that's why Geminis are the most independent sign. They get an idea, they act on it immediately. They don't take time to reflect. They think everyone else is retarded for taking time to reflect on things. So he picks up these ideas, these attitudes, and acts on them immediately without reflecting on the repercussions. Or even considering them. So that's one thing. This Mercury has only one major aspect to it. That's the square to Neptune. It squares Neptune. The dream, the illusion, the deception, the perception, the scandal, the confusion, the sorrow, the guilt. He can't think straight. And he has an anything is possible mind. I can change this. I will change this. It's messianical or it's guilt-ridden. You know, like it's very perceptive, deceptive. So he can't think straight. The Neptune is tempted, it's confused, it confuses his thinking. So when his sense of power is strongest and he thinks he sees the greatest, he can believe that his ideas are the ideas for the people, 11th house, and for the homeland. We'll just make America great again. We'll do this. We'll set this up. This is my thinking. It's the best thinking. It's the only way to think, and he can't see the gullibilities in that. So his ability to set up. Now, it's funny how this works because he has Mercury to Neptune. He built up all his property at one point. Then he had overextended himself so much, he had to sell off more than half his properties around the world just to survive. But he did that and managed. He still came back and built up again enough to become president. So it's not to underestimate this, but it's hard to get. That's a factor of distorted thinking, confusion, deception, whether you're deceived. His chart's projecting, so he projects his ideas to a fanatical degree. He has ideas, you say the Mercury in Cancer, his ideas about what people need and how tradition should be. It's squared by Neptune in the third house, so immigration is spoiling our money. It's taking our money. We're giving everything to all these other countries when we're not taking care of our own. We've got this sort of kind of like redneck homeland, almost bigot, but it's a belief system, and everything's false news, or everything's false news, nothing's true. That's a great thing for him to pick up, because then he can say anything and nobody's going to have to believe him, but he believes him. He could go with what he's going. So this is he tends to embrace unreal ideas, take them to extremes, to extremes of guilt, to extremes of sorrow, extremes of confusion, and project them out to their extremes, and to affect people the most with them without listening or taking in. So there's a gullibility here. He's riding the wave, but he can't think clearly. He's saying, here's the things we need to do, and he's doing it without any sense of the implications of it and what's coming back because of it. This is what needs to be done, so we'll do it without seeing he's pushing the wave. He doesn't see the undertow, the wave coming back, and the undertow from within it. Like every wave, it builds up, and then it comes back. So he's pushing the wave, not the regrouping. Why should you regroup? I haven't played this out yet. I'm going to play this as far as I can.